Good morning, all. Welcome to North Star Knife Reviews. This is a new channel, and I guess you could ask yourself, do we really need another knife review channel? Well, probably not, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. The show and tell was always one of my favorite things in elementary school. I love knives, and so I'm going to combine the two and do this. Today, here in this very first video, we're going to look briefly at a few knives, the ones that are in front of you here. But first, I want to talk very briefly about my philosophy of knife reviewing and my hopes for this channel. Now, I've always loved knives. I grew up in a small town in Iowa, and pretty much everybody carried pocket knives. I can remember my dad carrying a Schrade old timer Stockman in his pocket. He probably carried a few other things as well, but that's the one that I can really remember. And so I really just want to spend some time sharing my love of knives with other people. On this channel, I'm going to look at all kinds of knives. I'm going to look at traditionals, and I'm going to look at moderns. I'm going to look at some vintage knives. I'm going to look at some new releases. I'm going to look at folders. I'm going to look at fixed blades. I'm going to look at knives that are made in the US, and I know that's important for a lot of people. I'm also going to look at knives that are made elsewhere. I'm going to look at German knives, French knives, Spanish knives. Yes, I'm going to look at Chinese knives. I don't have a problem with them. I know that some people do. I don't. You can watch or not. The overarching criterion for the knives that I'm going to look at is, do I find it interesting? And most of the knives are going to be in that budget realm. I don't have the money to spend on high-end knives, and I don't generally feel the need to have them. Now that said, I'm not going to engage in any knife shaming here, either on low-end knives or high-end knives. If you've got the money to buy a $500 or $600 knife, and that's what you want to do, go for it. At the same time, I have no problem with $5, $6 knives. My philosophy is there's no good or bad knife. There's only a good or bad knife for your purpose. And a good knife is one that does what you need it to do and what you want it to do. And so what I'm going to look at are things that I would probably call 90-90 knives. Knives that are good for 90% of the people in 90% of situations. Now, we're going to look at blade steel, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Blade steel, again, isn't good or bad. It's only good or bad for your purpose. I know there are people who run in horror at the thought of using 440A or 8CR13 LV or something like that. But if you're somebody who's just carrying a knife and you pull it out occasionally to open a package, slice an apple, cut a piece of string, that sort of thing, you probably don't need S35VN. That 440A or even a 7CR 17 or even a 5CR or 3CR, probably going to work fine for you. All right. So there's no good or bad steel. It's just good or bad steel for your purpose. Now, as I said, I love knives. Knives are tools. Knives are art. And maybe most importantly, knives can connect us to other people. Now, certainly there are other things that can do that too. But for a lot of us, knives really provide memories of important people in our lives, maybe grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, those sorts of things. And that said, I want to look at these knives on the table very briefly. Now, I grew up in the town of Little Rock, Iowa. My dad and his uncle owned a grain elevator. And these are knives that they gave away at various times over the years. They stopped business in 1976 and sold, so all of these are going to be prior to that, probably in the anywhere from late 50s to early 70s. Very briefly going to take a look at these three knives. They aren't in the greatest of shape. A couple of them I just got recently from my sister when I went to visit her, and others I found in my garage as I was going through some stuff of my dad's. This is a little Ambassador, 2 blades. You can see here, hopefully, Ambassador, made in the USA. Ambassador, I believe, was a Colonial brand. You can see there's a lot of rust, corrosion, things like that on here. I haven't really done much cleaning on this yet. I plan to do that, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But on here we've got a nice little clip point blade, a little over 2 inches long. Not particularly sharp, but that's something I can take care of. In addition, we've got this serpentine frame here, cracked ice, Cruise Brothers Elevator, Little Rock, Iowa. Also have a little pen blade coming in at about 1.5 inches. The second knife that they gave away, this, I'm not sure of the maker on this one. It is a USA made. It may also be an Ambassador, I don't know. But again, one that they gave away, just a small little single blade knife. Nothing great. I mean, all 3 of these knives I could probably sell for about $5 for the lot of them on eBay, but they mean a lot to me and I wouldn't sell them for thousands of dollars, okay? So this one has a little blade, a little over 1.5 inches, about 1 3/4 long. And again, just a little equal end knife. And then this little keychain knife. They gave it on their 15th anniversary. I'm gonna have to ask my sister when they went into business because I can't remember just off the top of my head. But this is a tiny little knife, but it has got some great blade strength. You've got a 1-inch blade here. I don't know if you can hear, but it's got a little half stop and a nice little click. Okay, good walk and talk on this. These are all tiny little knives, nothing fancy, but they mean a lot to me. I can look at these and I can think back to when I was a kid going to the elevator, watching my dad work. I can remember sitting in our kitchen and we had a little cigar box of knives, and I remember looking at these exact models when I was little. So these are things that connect me to my dad. Now, I know I haven't gone into great detail on the specifics of these knives because I really don't know a lot about the maker. I have no idea of the steels. I'm guessing they are very budget. But these are the types of things that knives can do. They can bring us back. They can connect us to other people and bring out a lot of those memories. I'll be back with more in-depth reviews. None of them are going to be hugely long. I'm hoping to have between 5 and 10 minutes apiece. I'm not going to pull knives apart, things like that. There are plenty of other shows out there that do that. But I just want to look at them, show them to you, and hopefully you'll find something that interests you. All right, you guys have a good day, and I will catch you next time.